Hey, it's Tara with Reiki on the Run, and today I want to talk about dealing with your emotions. For men, I've had this request, and then I've also had several comments on videos I've done. I did a video about emotions, releasing your emotions in the past, and obviously I'm not a man, and luckily, we're all built the same. When it comes to emotions, we all handle them the same. They all mean the same. And we can deal with them the same. Where it comes into play, why I mention men, well, not only because I was asked specifically to do a video, but also because in many cultures, in my culture, men are oftentimes taught not to show their emotions, not to express their emotions. You've got to be strong, and showing emotions is a sign of weakness. And when we are kids, when we're little, we don't have that. We express our emotions. If we're angry, we scream. If we are sad, we cry. And it's not until we learn, until our parents start saying, stop that crying, our feelings, whether they are trying to do that or not, they get invalidated. They don't seem important. We have to stop them for whatever reason. Men especially are taught not to express those emotions because it makes them weak, because it makes them not a man, and it's just not true. And women, luckily, we have been able to be, emotional basket cases if need be. It's more acceptable for women to express their emotions, although in recent times I feel like it's gone full circle, and women seem to be taking on more masculine traits and trying to compete in this supposed man's world, and just taking on more of that demeanor, that trying not to express emotions kind of thing. So this will be helpful to anyone, and I have some cards here to talk about some ways that you can feel those emotions if you're not used to doing that. And not only are we taught not to express our emotions, we can also learn through being hurt. When we are in relationships and we become vulnerable and expose ourselves and we get hurt, it's very painful and very real, and it can cause us to stop wanting to feel emotions, and to stop feeling emotions, to stop being vulnerable, to stop putting ourselves out there. So we've got both of those things working against us. So the first way I have to deal with our emotions is to use, we just call it the cloud method. I might have made it up. Somebody might have thought of it before, but I imagine, a lot of times when we feel emotions, we stuff them. And as I talked about in my video before, and I'll get right back to the clouds, we stuff them, and this causes all sorts of physical issues. It could cause pain, it can cause physical pain. If you think of stuffing something full, it's going to start bursting in areas at some point. And the word emotion comes from the Latin word meaning energy in motion. Like emotions are energy, and if you start stuffing all that negative energy and stuffing that in, it's going to start busting at the seams. And so we need to let them out. We need to stop stuffing them as they come. And so that's where the clouds come in. If your emotions as they come, our tendency is to stuff them. And we need to treat them like clouds, like they're clouds passing through. Just like if you try to meditate and you think of your thoughts passing through, same thing. Let these emotions come in, feel them, let them be what they are, recognize them for what they are, sit with them, and let them pass through. Let them keep going. Just imagine them as clouds. Just, okay, I'm going to feel this at this moment, and then I'm going to let them go through. Do not stuff. Do not say, nope, not going to feel this, not going to feel this. Now, obviously if you're at work or something and you can't just have a little mini breakdown, if that's what you need to do, you get to the point where you don't need to have those breakdowns anymore. But if that's where you're at, you can make a time to feel them later. But try to just let them pass through and not stuff them. The next one is a very powerful method to feel emotions. And this one especially if you're dealing with maybe a breakup or some sort of relationship issue. And this is music. Using music to deal with your emotions, to feel your emotions. Now, you have to be careful with music in general. A lot of music is created to keep you in disharmony and to keep you down and sad. You listen to a lot of country music, just really, really sad stuff that keeps you in that sad feeling state. And that's not what we want to be in. But when it comes to feeling your emotions, especially if you have a hard time expressing them, this is a good way to get them out. Now, you should take a song or two that will produce sad feelings. Maybe it's if you're dealing with a breakup, it can be, your song, or a song that makes you think of, you have those songs that when you hear them, you change the radio station real quick because they know that they're going to take you there where you don't want to go. Well, you want to go there now. So take those songs, and I would recommend 2 songs that will really get you there. Maybe it's a love song. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything sad. It's just a song that reminds you of a thing, of a person that will get you there, that when you listen to it, you can get all in, feel the song, feel every word, let it all out, feel it, let it go. But then stop after 1 or 2 songs. And it's even better if you can have a song afterwards that will pump you up, that makes you feel good, a surefire. Every time you hear this song, it makes you dance and smile and sing. And so after you've listened to those songs that just bring it out of you, you've released all that, you've gotten it all out. Then you can play the other song that's going to make you feel better, and you can just feel into that too and start to feel better and get out of that sad feeling, because we don't want to stay in the emotions. We want to let them out. We don't want to stay in those bad emotions, so let them out with the music, and then get back into a good space. And the next one I have, cry it out. This is big for me. Crying is fantastic. I know, again, us girls can usually get away with that a little more culturally acceptable. I share walls with people, and I don't care if I do something that upsets me, or if something comes up, I will cry it out. I will wail and cry. Usually only takes a couple minutes, and the sound you make when you cry also helps. That guttural getting it out. It helps to get those emotions out, to not let them sink in. You just have to cry, and it's so cleansing to cry. Now you have to stop, again, just like with the music. When you get to that point, it's funny, I listen to my kids do it now, and I used to do it when I was a kid, where I'd be in my room and I'd be so upset because I got in trouble, and then I'd cry and cry and cry, and then I'd stop, and so then I'd forget and start sniveling, and then I'd remember and start crying again. That's when you want to stop. When you get all of it out and you start to slow down, that's when you go, okay, all right, I've had enough, and find a way to get yourself back into a better feeling mood. Because again, we don't want to drown in this. We don't want to marinate in these crappy emotions. We want to express them, get them out, and move on. What we focus on grows. If we continue to focus on these negative emotions, that's what's going to continue to manifest in our life. So we don't want to do that. So get it out, cry, wail, whatever you got to do, and then move on. And the last one here is transmuting. So this is done by either, and I do both, depending on whatever I feel like at that moment. Sometimes I will transmute, and transmuting, I don't know, I should have looked up the definition, but in my terms, it's handing it over, transferring it over for someone else to deal with, to transform it into something good. So it's kind of like putting it out into the universe or putting it into Mother Earth. I like to sometimes I just imagine that it's negative energy. It's that sad energy, emotions that I'm pushing down into the ground. I let the energy flow out of me into the ground, and for Mother Earth to transmute. Sometimes I'll let it go out up into the universe. If you are a God person, if you pray, if you believe in a God above in heaven, you can turn it over to God. Whatever your thing is, whatever feels right to you, just transfer it, hand it over to Mother Earth, hand it over to God, whatever it is, but release it. And physically imagine it releasing from you and going to the place it needs to go to, God, heaven, Mother Earth, whatever, for them to transfer it into good, positive energy again. You know, energy can't be extinguished. You can't kill it. It can only be changed. So this energy needs to be put out to be changed. So transmuting would be a good way to do that. So hopefully these have helped. I just want to encourage everybody who is still, if you're still listening to this, then you are on your way to amazing things. And I hope you can be patient with yourself and loving, and just know that wonderful things are coming. And I'm sure you know that already. I'm sure you're starting to feel it. Hopefully you're at the end of despair, or maybe you didn't get that far and you're just looking for ways to feel better. But either way, I want you to know I love you very much. I appreciate you guys asking for specific videos. It really helps in getting me moving to talk about these things. So I really, really hope this has helped, and I love you very, very much, in case anyone hasn't told you today. All right, peace.